This video is a guided tour of PAI's intermediate training services, focusing on site-specific plant operations, a fully customized computer-based module complete with graphics, animated flowsheets, animations, and assessments specific to your plant design down to every last detail. Our intermediate training differs from our basic training in that it is site-specific, written and designed by our engineers after extensive study of engineering and supplier information and ongoing communication with the client. Our intermediate training services include 4 components. Plant operations, which includes such topics as system process descriptions, process variables, control loops, interlocks, alarms, and operating procedures. Plant maintenance, with such topics as equipment and components, safety, and standard maintenance procedures. Mobile equipment operations, covering topics such as communications, equipment descriptions and specifics, controls, instruments, and indicators, and operator troubleshooting. And finally, mobile equipment maintenance, including topics such as safety, lubrication, and preventive maintenance procedures. In this video, we'll focus on our plant operations module. This module serves as a site-specific training tool for plant operators and is fully customized in your native language or designed with an optional bilingual toggle. The module uses comprehensive graphics, flow sheets with animated flow lines, animations, interactive plot plans, and assessments to cover every aspect of operation, including safe job procedures, process descriptions, equipment specifications, operating control philosophies, process variables, control loops, interlocks, alarms, operating procedures and tasks, troubleshooting guides, and piping and instrumentation diagrams. Here, Ryan walks you through and highlights some of the features of this training module.
The very first thing that you will notice about the intermediate or site-specific training is the ability to select a language, whether it be the native language or the design language. Sometimes these are different. Sometimes there are different people that need different languages for different reasons. Once a language is selected, you'll have a home menu that allows you to choose, in this case, as you see in front of you, introductory modules that are part of the basic level training, or site-specific, specific to the plant for operator or maintenance training. Here you also have the ability to toggle and change languages, and you will see there is the Spanish equivalent. Toggle back to English. You will see along the top, this overview, you will see headings that refer to different subjects. We start off here with the summary flow sheet, summary description. We also have safe job procedures, some references to introductory modules that have already been completed in the basic training, and then associated specific or plant-specific plant areas. The terminologies and symbols will go through symbols and abbreviations that are found inside this training program, the computer-based training program, what symbols they will see and what those symbols mean. The summary description. Brand new plant, brand new operator, unfamiliar with it. He has his area again, toggle switch. You can change this at any point in time throughout the entire training, and it changes on the page in which you are found. You can illuminate different areas, flows, so that you can see those flows and how they move. Multiple areas, multiple lines. The summary description gives an outline of the project, its location, its purpose, just as you would introduce any new trainee at any given plant, regardless of the area in which they'll be working. This area, the plant, what it looks like, where it's located, its general overall purpose, each area within, and what type of equipment from a summary perspective will be used on site. You can also see a plot plan, and this is also an interactive plan. So if they were a crushing operator, they can see the area in which they would work. If they were a grinding and pebble crushing operator, they can see their area, and so forth. After going through the summary description and walking through the plant, getting the trainees familiar, you would then go through the safe job procedures. All of the safe jobs that are associated with the site. It's emergency responses, lockout and tagout procedures, lifting, confined spaces, hearing protections, fire extinguishers, and so forth. There's always a host of safe job procedures associated with any given mining or industrial facility. As we've already covered the introductory modules in a different segment, we will conclude to an overview of the site-specific training. In this case, we're going to select as if we were a grinding operator or grinding and pebble crushing operator. You will see first, again, safe jobs. These safe jobs are specific safe job procedures to the grinding and pebble crushing area operator that go above and beyond the original safe job procedures for the plant. How to deal with lime or sodium cyanide, so forth. This area is broken down into 3 different segments: the primary grinding, the pebble crushing, the secondary grinding. All of the operating procedures associated with the area and associated P&IDs. As we dive further into this area, into the primary grinding or the SAG mill grinding, we will see that we now have a process description that is given in more detail, not in just summary description, but in more detail to the primary grinding area. Here you will see its purpose. You will see other things like equipment specifications, lubrication systems associated with it, discharge screens, and so forth. Once the process description has been discussed and associated tours taken out the plant to identify the equipment, you can then get into the process control. Every process control has a control philosophy, a reason as to why we're doing what we're doing. The philosophy should always be very simple and complete. Once the philosophy is addressed, how do we obtain that philosophy? Well, we obtain that with different process variables and associated control loops. In this case, for our grinding and pebble crushing area, we have 4 major process variables: feed rate, process water flow, and so forth. Selecting on the feed rate, we notice here's our specific area, our primary grinding. Here, as the arrow indicates, is our SAG mill feed rate. Our SAG mill feed rate, our target range, is 648 tons per hour. How are we going to control that, and what is the impact on the process? If we're too high, what happens? If we're too low, what happens? The control method, as many plants are automated, this control method allows you to train the operator on the control loop. In this case, the SAG mill feed rate control loop. Whether it's automatic control, it could be a cascade mode, a ratio mode. Some of these can be rather complex. You have your measuring elements with your associated transmitters and controllers controlling, in this case, your control devices, your reclaim feeders, your process variable, your controller, your control device. Once the trainee has been trained on all the process variables and associated control loops, you can discuss even more detail the interlocks. Interlocks associated with the plant, whether it's the feed conveyors in this example, you have multiple interlock conditions. as to why a piece of equipment may stop or not start. Sometimes there are multiple interlock pieces of equipment, and all of these can be addressed or located very quickly, as you see that I'm doing here, by an easy click of the button. Some are simple, some are very, very complex. As you see, the sag mill has many. The alarms. As you continue into the alarms, you have a host of alarms, whether they're pressure alarms, lows or low lows, or highs, flow alarms, temperature alarms, differential, speed, whatever the case. As you can see, by a simple click of the button, I can find my alarm with its associated fault, cause, and remedy to those causes. Along with the site-specific training, we also have operating procedures. These operating procedures include pre-operational inspections, startups, shutdowns, routine inspections, the various operator tasks, as well as troubleshooting guides for the area. These procedures, multiple people use them. They can be either from complete standby shutdown, emergency shutdown, power failure. There are different scenarios wherein you would use these procedures, the different steps they are to perform, observations or notes or cautions, extreme warnings if there are hazards that need to be met. As you see here, this information is critical to ensuring that, in this case, the grinding and pebble crushing area startup as it was designed. And last but not least, you have the availability to link PNIDs with the associated plants, so that in the event there is a question as to the design or make of an area or the instrumentation associated with the area, you have the ability to print and even review the original engineering documented PNIDs and vendor manual information. And this completes our overview of the intermediate or site-specific training.